Hello dear students, this is Alok sir. Hope you all are fine and enjoying your time. In this video, I will explain some basic concepts from chapter Units and Measurement, and the topics are physical quantities, fundamental and derived quantities, and units, fundamentals and derived units. Let us start then. What is a physical quantity? Physical quantities are those quantities which can be measured. Means the quantity that can be measured are termed as physical quantity. All those quantities which can be measured directly or indirectly and in terms of which the law of physics can be expressed are called physical quantities. Example: length, mass, time, temperature, etc. So these are the physical quantity, and these quantity can be measured. Types of physical quantities: two types of physical quantity we will study there, that is fundamental quantities and derived quantities. What are the fundamental quantities? The physical quantity which can be treated as independent of other physical quantities and are not usually defined in terms of other physical quantity are called fundamental quantities. There are 7 fundamental or base quantity which you have to learn, that is length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity, and amount of substances. So these are the 7 basic quantities, 7 fundamental quantities which are treated as fundamental quantities. Derived quantity are those quantity which are expressed in terms of fundamental quantity. So the physical quantity which can be expressed in terms of fundamental quantity or which can be expressed by the help of fundamental quantities are called derived quantities. Means that those quantities which are derived from fundamental quantities. For example, velocity. Velocity is equal to displacement over time, that is rate of change of displacement. Displacement is length and time is 10 t, that is second. So velocity is expressed in terms of length and time, and those are fundamental quantities. Again, acceleration is expressed in terms of velocity and time, and velocity and time is expressed in terms of fundamental quantities. Force, mass into acceleration, momentum, mass into velocity. These are the quantities which are expressed in terms of fundamental quantities. So these are called derived quantities. Now units. Units are what? Units are the standard for measurement of physical quantity. So the standard of measurement of a physical quantity is called units of that physical quantity, or the standard by which a particular physical quantity can be measured is called unit of that physical quantity. Means units are the standard for measurement. For example, length is measured in meter, centimeter, kilometer. Mass is measured in kilogram and gram. Time is measured in hours, second, minutes. So units are the standard for measurement of a physical quantity. Now types of units are fundamental units and derived units. See the explanation. First is fundamental units. What are the fundamental units? The units of fundamental quantities or base quantity which we have studied earlier, those units are called fundamental units. Means which does not depend on another unit are called fundamental units. What are the 7 base quantities or 7 fundamental quantities? That are length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity, and amount of substance. So units of these fundamental base quantities are called fundamental units. Unit of length is meter, unit of time is second, unit of mass is kg, unit of temperature Kelvin, unit of electric current ampere, unit of luminous intensity candela, and amount of substance is moles. Unit of these fundamental quantities are called fundamental units. These are 7. And the last one is derived unit. The units of physical quantity which is expressed in terms of fundamental unit or with the help of fundamental units are called derived units. Means derived units are those units which can be expressed in terms of fundamental units, which are not independent, which are dependent on fundamental unit. For example, unit of speed is meter per second, and these are the fundamental units. Unit of force, mass into acceleration, kg meter per second. These are the fundamental unit. This is a numerical unit of force, also called Newton. So velocity meter per second, acceleration meter per second square. So we are seeing that derived units are expressed in terms of fundamental units. So derived units are not dependent. Derived units are not independent. These are dependent on fundamental units. So we have seen two types of units are there: fundamental units and derived units. Fundamental units, the independent units, or the units of 7 basic quantities, are called fundamental units, and derived units means those units which are expressed in terms of fundamental units are called derived units. These are the very basic concept. You must have to remember this, and next part of video I will explain systems of unit. Till then, stay tuned and revise properly.